Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 147. Day 147, we have been solving what problem from day 101 through 200. This is our 47th day. Let's see what we have for today. An airplane traveled a distance of 18,000 kilometers in H hours. Question simply is, what is its speed in kilometer per second? That's all. Very simple, very straightforward question. We have done many questions like these. This is not bad. This is not too bad. Let's do it together. Pause the video if you wish. Solve it yourself, and then compare your work. That's actually the better strategy instead of just sitting there and staring at the screen. Solve it yourself first, and then resume it. So we are told that it traveled 18,000 kilometers in H hour. Well, look, let's put in numbers here first so we can see it. What if we were told that it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 2 hours? How will we find how much it traveled in an hour? If it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 2 hours, then it will make sense to say that it traveled 18,000 divided by 2 kilometers in 1 hour. What if we were told that it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 3 hours? Well, if it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 3 hours, then it must have gone 6,000 kilometers in 1 hour. We're assuming constant speed, even though it's not said here. It's assumed that its speed is constant. How do we find that 6,000? By taking this 18,000 and dividing by 3. What if we were told that it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 6 hours? How will we find how much it traveled in 1 hour? By dividing 18,000 by 6. What if we were told it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 10 hours? Well, if it traveled 18,000 kilometers in 10 hours, it must have gone on average 1,800 kilometers an hour. Where do we find that 1,800 kilometers? By dividing this quantity by that quantity. The same exact logic will apply here. It is no different. Algebra is no different. Algebra and arithmetic are the same exact thing. Algebra is arithmetic in abstract sense. Just like in the paintings, you have something that you can see and understand. Pictures in the landscape and so forth, and there are abstract paintings. The same exact thing. You think in abstract terms. Here, airplanes do not fly for 10 hours, airplanes do not fly for 3 hours, airplanes do not fly for 5 hours, airplanes, generally speaking, fly for H hours. And therefore, in 1 hour, the airplane will travel this quantity divided by H. That's it. Now, so that part is done. We are asked to find out kilometers per second. This is per hour. We have to convert this hour into seconds to figure out how much it travels in 1 second. So let's do that next. This 1 hour, this is how many kilometers in 1 hour, which is same as 18,000 over H kilometers in 3,600 seconds, because that's how many seconds you have in an hour. An hour has 60 minutes and each minute has 60 seconds. So it's 3,600. 6 times 6 is 36 and then 2 zeros. 3,600. Therefore, in 1 second, you will take this quantity and divide by 3,600. So 18,000 over H times 3,600 kilometers in 1 second. There we go, that's our answer. That is our answer. That is our final answer, but quite unfortunately, this is not how the answer would appear in the real exam. Had it been a real exam, had it been SAT or GRE or GMAT, multiple choice questions, the multiple choice answers that are going to be presented to you, the 5 of them, none of those answers is going to look like, I was about to say are, none is a singular. None of those none is singular. None of those answer is going to look like this. It has to be simplified, it has to be reduced. Okay, let's do that. Or even if you were not taking a multiple choice exam, even if this was an open-ended question was presented to you during the exam, and if you left your word care, if I were the teacher grading it, these are too many digressions here. We'll come to this in a second. We'll come to that in a second. If I were the teacher grading it, you would not get full credit for it because it has not been reduced. It has not been presented in its most elegant form. Yes, that's what I said. Most elegant form. Algebra has elegance. Let's reduce it. Let's present it in a more elegant, more palatable form, more refined form. These two zeros, if you divide the top and the bottom by 100, will cancel out. How many? If you divide top and the bottom by 18, this 18 disappears. Don't forget there is a 0 here still, so that 0 comes up, and this 36 will become 2. And then this 10 and this 2, if you divide top and bottom by 2 again, this becomes 5, and this disappears. Well, when I say disappear, it becomes 1. Now, in its most refined form, in its most elegant form, the answer simply is, your 5 over your h. Very good, voila, this is the final answer. All that mumbo jumbo that we see there reduces to 5 over h kilometers per second. Let's put it here. 5 over h kilometers per second. That is our answer. Now, back to the digression that I was about to make, and then I stopped myself. Why did I say if I were your teacher grading this thing? Why were? Shouldn't it be I was? It's one of the peculiarities of the English language, one of the eccentricities. English language is very eccentric, very peculiar, very idiosyncratic. And the rule is that when one is speaking hypothetically, which is exactly what I was doing, since I'm not the teacher grading it, when one speaks hypothetically, one has to employ plural form of the verb, even if the subject of the sentence is singular. If I were rich, I would be driving a Bentley. Instead, I'm riding a bicycle. Bit difference. Anyway, so the answer is 5 over h. 5 over h. Let's verify that answer. I want to verify it. I want to make sure that we did the right work. How do we verify our answer? As always, at the end of the work, we verify our answer by plugging in number for the variables. Except here, in this particular problem, we do not have variables. We just have one variable. H is the only unknown. H is the only variable that is presented to us here, right here, in h hours. That's the only variable that appears in the problem. Let's make up a number for this guy, shall we? Let's make up a number for this guy. Let's pretend. I'm going to erase all of this thing. I need the room, so I'm going to erase all of this thing. The answer is here. Let's redo this work by plugging in numbers for the h and see what answer comes out, what answer we come up with, and see how that compares with this. So how long do you want this airplane to take to travel 18,000 kilometers? That's what we're deciding. In other words, when we say what do you want to plug in for h, what do you want to plug in for h? That is same as asking how long do you want this airplane to take to travel 18,000 kilometers. Let's pretend that it takes 3 hours. Let's plug in 3 for h, okay? So watch what happens. So now we are saying that it travels 18,000 kilometers in 3 hours, therefore 6,000 kilometers in 1 hour. We divide by 3, therefore 6,000 kilometers in 1 hour. 1 hour is same as 3,600 seconds. So it travels 6,000 kilometers in in 3,600 seconds. This 6,000 and 8,000 they should line up properly. In 3,600 seconds. Therefore, it's going to travel 6,000 over 3,600 kilometers in 1 second. What is missing here is kilometers. Kilometers in, kilometers in, kilometers in. So that's the answer. Let's see if this answer looks anything like that answer after we reduce the bloody thing. If you divide the top and the bottom by 100, the two zeros cancel out, and then we end up with, on the top we end up with 60, and the bottom we end up with 36. 60 divided by 36. If you were to divide top and bottom by 12, top and bottom by 12, how many 12 in the 60? There are 5 12s in the 60. How many 12s in 36? There are 3 12s in 36. So it turns out what we're claiming is that this airplane which has taken 3 hours to travel 18,000 kilometers has traveled on average a distance of 5 over 3 or 5 2/3 kilometer every second. Now watch here, 5 over 3. Watch what happens. Compare this answer. 5 over 3. Where does this 3 come from? That's your h right here, because we had plugged in 3 for h. Voila. 5 over h, 5 over 3, because h in this problem we plugged in 3, and therefore it does give us the right answer. That is the right answer, 5 over h, whatever h is. In other words, listen to it carefully. In other words, if we had pretended, listen carefully, if we had pretended that the airplane had traveled 18,000 kilometers in 5 hours, instead of 3 hours, if the airplane travels 18,000 kilometers in 5 hours, that airplane travels exactly 1 kilometers a second. 1 kilometers per second in 5 hours. Why? Watch here. 5 hours is same as 5 times 3,000 seconds. Well, 5 times 36. Again, listen carefully. I'll try to understand the logic. 5 times 36. I do not know what 5 times 36 is, but I do know that 10 times 36 is 360. Therefore, 5 times 36 bloody well be half of 360, which is 180. This quantity is 180. 180, and then we got 2 more zeros. Voila, you see? It travels because it, so therefore what we're saying is that 5 hours is made up of exactly 18,000 seconds, and if it travels 18,000 kilometers in 18,000 seconds, then that airplane would have gone on average a kilometer every second. But our airplane did not go a kilometer every second on purpose. I did not plug in 5 here for a reason, because that would have been too nice, it would be too simple. Our airplane traveled 5 5/3 of a kilometer, little more than, actually 2/3 kilometer more than this airplane, because our airplane took only 3 hours. This airplane is taking 5 hours to go the same distance. Anyway, enough of the talk. I will see you tomorrow on day number 148. Alright? Yes, I know I have a tendency to explain too much, or as you guys call it, beat the dead horse. But c'est la vie, as we say in the desert. I will see you tomorrow on day number 148. Okay?